Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my casa, my home in Livingston, Montana. Okay, about a year or so ago, 8 months or so ago, I made kind of a negative video about the state of Montana. And the reason why, or I think I entitled it, What's Wrong with the State of Montana, or whatever. And the reason why I made that video is for these pilgrims that decide they want to move to the state of Montana and have no clue what they're getting themselves into. And I'm talking about our cold weather, etc., etc. You'll have to go down through my index of videos and look at that video if you want to, which I know you won't. And also, this video right here is just a sit-down talk video. I've got all kinds of videos on my YouTube channel about the beauty of Montana and different scenery and all this other kind of stuff. So this video here is not fortified with a bunch of slides and all that. It doesn't serve any purpose, okay? Right off the get-go, ladies and gentlemen, these are my 15 reasons why I love the state of Montana. Okay, starting this video out, I was born in the state of Montana. Kalispell, Montana is my birthplace. I was born December 23rd of 1951. That makes me almost 67 years old. Okay, I have spent a grand total of 40 years living in the state of Montana. I've moved out and back several times for personal reasons, and that's not what I'm here to do. Okay, here's my 15 talking points on why I love the state of Montana. Number one, Montana possesses some of the most scenic natural beauty in the continental United States. Bar none. Natural beauty, I said. There are exceptions. There are some states that are pretty doggone nice, but Montana is definitely right up there at the top of really beautiful scenic states. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this, ladies and gentlemen. Number two, Montana is not populated unlike a lot of states. Montana is the fourth biggest state in the Union. The fourth, I said, and yet we've got less than 1 million people that live here. It is not congested. It isn't, we don't have tons of traffic jams and on like that. It's one thing I like. Number three, in the state of Montana, you can find peace of mind here because you don't have people hustle, bustle, and, and talking fast and all that stuff that you've got in big cities. Okay, number four, the crime rate in the state of Montana is very, very low. These police officers, these cops, these state cops up here have a tendency to be a little bit on the redneck side. You get smart with them, they're going to figure out a way to put a cap in your rear end and slam you in the Crowbar Hotel. Like it, lump it, or whatever. It's the way it is. Okay, number five. People have a tendency to be nicer in the state of Montana, and they really do, than other places, especially like out there on the East Coast and in places in the West Coast, like in places in LA and all that. There's a whole bunch of places across the United States that you wouldn't catch a guy like me living in. People are just generally nicer in the state of Montana. Number six, outdoor activities rule. Now, did you hear me, ladies and gentlemen? Outdoor activities rule in the state of Montana. I'm talking about boating, kayaking, snowboarding, skiing, fishing, hunting, fly fishing, and this list just goes on and on and on. Hiking, alpine hiking. All right, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Number seven, gangs. Gangs, I said, are almost non-existent in the state of Montana. I mean, some of the stuff I see on YouTube, some of these videos I see, these gang-related videos, these bozos pull that kind of stuff up here in the state of Montana, and like I say, they're going to be staring down the barrel of big, large firearms, and they're definitely going to jail. Make no mistake about this stuff. We don't have a lot of gang activity in the state of Montana, which I like it like that. Number 8, homelessness. And believe you me, I better stop here for a second. I've got a soft spot, ladies and gentlemen, for people that are homeless. Like people that live in LA, in Tent City. I've seen the YouTube videos. I know what I'm talking about. That's sad. But you cannot do that in the state of Montana, especially in the wintertime. You want to know why? You're going to die from hypothermia. You're going to die. So homelessness is not a great big problem like it is in certain parts of the United States. Simple as that. Number 9, Montana is definitely a state where if you want to get away from it all, if you want to get away from the hustle and bustle of the big cities or whatever have you, you can literally get lost in the state of Montana. We've got hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of miles of backpacking, alpine hiking, etc., etc. Number 10, the state of Montana isn't polluted like some of the other states I've been to, especially some of them states out there on the East Coast. I can remember years ago, in the early 1970s, I was stationed at a place called Eatontown, New Jersey. A place called Fort Monmouth. It isn't there anymore. It used to be the most elite Signal Corps school that the United States Army had. That's where I was taking my AIT MOS at. I thought I'd lit in absolute hell. New Jersey out there and New York City and some of them places out there, you know, look like chemical factory. They look like just one chemical factory right after the other. And that includes a whole bunch of miserable states out there that I won't mention. Man, I tell you, man, we're going to pay for all this pollution, but Montana's not polluted. Now, I'm spending a little extra time on this because the only pollution that we had in the state of Montana was mining, especially up over around Butte, Montana, but a lot of that's been cleaned up or it's in the process of being cleaned up, etc., etc. Montana is simply not a polluted state, unfortunately, like other places, like Flint, Michigan, for example, and whatever, you know. All right, number 11. In this state, you have got the freedom to be yourself. You don't have to be tied up with some kind of nutty religious faction or left or right-wing politics or whatever. You've got the freedom to do your own thinking because you can go out in Mother Nature for one. You can go out and lose yourself. Sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself. Did you get me on that? Sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself. You can do that in Montana. Ask yourself, can you do that where you live? All right. Number 12, the cost of housing, and I'm talking about across the board, say compared to Beverly Hills, California, or down there in Florida where the rich people are, or in Trump Tower in New York City. The cost of living in Montana is low compared to these places. Low, I said. It's a lot higher than what it used to be when I was a kid growing up in this state, but hey, Number 13, traffic and road rage. We just don't have. The only time that we've got a lot of traffic in the state of Montana is in the summertime. We get around 3 million people that come here. Tourists. Why? Because they don't like where they're living, so they got to escape, their homemade hell, so to speak. I guess I shouldn't put it that way. Whatever have you. So what do? Come to the state of Montana. But I got to be careful here because the state makes there's a lot of businesses that depend on tourism. But we don't have, generally speaking, a lot of traffic and especially road rage. People smashing into each other, flipping each other off, shooting at each other with firearms and stuff like that. Okay, number 14, state taxes across the board and vehicle taxes and vehicle registration and stuff like that have a tendency to be lower in the state of Montana compared to a whole bunch of other states across the continental United States. I'm just going to leave it to that. I know this for a fact. And number 15, overall, you are safer in the state of Montana. Like right now, I live in Livingston, Montana. I could jog all over this town right now. I could walk my dog. I could ride my bicycle. I could do whatever. And nobody's going to bother me. Nobody's going to call me a racial name. Nobody's going to shoot at me or any of that. Can you say that about the neighborhood that you live in? If you can't, I feel sorry for you. And I mean that with all the humility in the world. All right, ladies and gentlemen, simple as that. These are my 15 reasons why I love the state of Montana. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you on down the trail.